think this is where we left off yesterday. So start with our parent function, x squared. So 0 squared is 0, 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, negative 1 squared is 1, negative 2 squared is 4.
Is this on yesterday's paper?
Yes. Okay. So if I'm talking through the transformations, what will the 3 in front do? Out in front changes y and does what it says. So we are really just going to multiply y by 3. What does the plus 2 do? And the plus 1? So let's talk through and see if we can graph it. And if I lose you at any point, tell me and I'll back it up and break it into pieces. So I'm starting out by multiplying my y by 3. So here my y is 0. Times 3 is still 0, so it's still there. And then I move it left 2 and up 1. Okay, if I take 1, 1, my y value is 1. Times 3 is 3, so now my point becomes 1, 3. And then I take it left 2, up 1. So I took, if I lost you there, let's just do this first. If I only told you to stretch by 3, okay, let's do that first. So stretch by 3, your y is times 3. You can write ordered pairs if you need to. Outside is y, does what it says. So it says times 3, so if I take my y's times 3, my points are 0, 0, 1, 3, negative 1, 3. Now, this isn't my final graph, but if all I did was stretch by 3, it would look like that. Are you guys okay with that part? Now, let's get our final one. Now let's move each of those points left 2 and up 1. Left 2, up 1. And so you can always break it into pieces like that. Just make sure that I know if I have multiple graphs on here, I know what your final one is. So go back and erase the extra one, or label the final one, or grab a highlighter and highlight it. I can tell that's my final graph. Does that help if you're struggling with that? Stretch or shrink first, you can sketch that in and then shift it to whatever side. All right. Let's look at, let's skip that one. I'm going to go to this one right now. So, I didn't give you the equation, I just gave you a graph. If I tell you to graph y equals negative f of x, what does a negative in front do? Over which axis? X. It's like taking all the ordered pairs and changing the y values. So 2, 6 would go to 2, negative 6. 7, 6 would go to 7, negative 6. Negative 1, negative 3 would go to negative 1, positive 3. Negative 4, 0, if you flip, wouldn't go anywhere. So our graph would look like that. What would a negative on the inside do? So it's taking my original, flipping over the y. What do you think on the x. So think about taking these points and changing their x values. So we get negative 2, 6, negative 7, 6, positive 4, 0. And positive 1, negative 3. So if you have to reflect a graph that's already given to you, just go through and change the points. Change the correct, and look at if your y is changing signs or your x. Questions there? I want to look at this handout for a minute. Alright, so the first one. I'm just going to walk through the first one, then I want you guys to work with a partner to try to figure out the next few, and then we'll check them. If there is an x plus 4, a 4 on the inside, what would that do to my graph? Left 4. Okay. I told you the original point is 8, 12. Anything on the inside, I keep telling you, it changes x, it does the opposite. Inside x is opposite. So it says add 4 to my x, so what do I really do to my x? What's the opposite of adding 4? Subtracting 4. So if I did 8 minus 4, my point becomes 4, 12. So on these, I want you to talk through what the transformation would do and what the new ordered pair would be. I want you to work with somebody sitting next to you, and then we'll check them in a minute. So, our point, we're using the 8, 12 for all of them. So B, that plus 4 would move up 4. Outside changes y and does what it says. So we add 4 to our y, so we get 8, 16. C, outside is y, does what it says. So that's a vertical string. If you take your y times 1/4, you get 8, 3. D, it's a vertical stretch. Outside y does what it says. So y times 4 is 48. C, inside is x, it does the opposite. What is the opposite of multiplying by 4? Dividing by 4. So I'm going to take my x divided by 4. So we get 2, 12. D, inside x does the opposite. So the opposite of multiplying by 1/4 will be multiplying by 4. So the point becomes 32, 12. Any questions on those?
I know if it's for the horizontal or stretching.
If it's in the parentheses, it's horizontal. Outside is vertical. Alright, try the next couple. It has you graph a parent function and the transformation. So give those a try with your partner. So, on number 2, if you need to, break it into pieces. The -2 on the outside changes y, it does what it says. It's stretching and flipping, or you can go through and just multiply your y's by -2. Not everybody does it this way, but several of us are, and that's perfectly fine. If that helps, this isn't my final graph, but that takes care of the -2. Then what do I have to do to get my final graph? Left 3. So just make sure I can tell the difference, so whether you just lightly sketch the other one in, or highlight it, or go back and erase your middle step, that's whatever you need to do, but this is my final answer. Number 3, that's my square root graph. How is this one getting moved?
Let's 2 down 3.
So I take each point, left 2, down 3. last one here. Okay, it's my parabola. If you need to, write out your ordered pairs. The 2 is on the inside. Inside changes x and it always does the opposite. So the opposite of multiplying by 2 is dividing by 2. Okay, so this isn't my final graph, but if all I were doing was that, I would get these points. If you wanted, you could even do more. I have 2, 4, and negative 2, 4. If I divide those by 2, I get 1, 4, and negative 1, 4. So it's just making our graph skinnier. Then what do we have to do to finish it? What's the plus 1 do? Up 1. So final graph is that blue one. Are there any questions? So that's where I'm stopping. You need to finish your Math Excel.